Oh, wait. Oh, stop.
What?
I didn't title it because I have to title it on there.
It's going live.
But
everywhere.
we're live. So we're going to have to go and rename it.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do any titles?
It is. It's live. Yes. All right. What's up, everybody? So we are officially testing. So our titles, as you can see,
a shred test.
It's a shred test, and it
That's
is
awesome.
not a test. We're going to have to rename it, but
okay,
we actually sound good
Yeah,
too.
we sound
That's good news. So
Sound good
we
audio?
actually are using Switcher Studios, our good friends at Switcher Studios. So you can actually see my iPad. We are streaming to our mics, and then we also actually have we have our really nice camera finally set up that we were finally able to get used. And look, check it out. We can do overlays. Boom! The Shred Show, ladies and gentlemen. So actually some pretty cool stuff. As many of you know, we've been testing a lot of things, and I think we finally found what we're comfortable with. We're really excited with this. So this should be something really cool. So we appreciate our friends at Switcher Studios helping us out with this. And again, hopefully you can see and hear us okay. Actually, as a matter of fact, let's do a little bit of testing. Oh, nice. Yep, you can hear
Testing
that.
sounds
That's good. Audio is good there. Comments, if you are on Facebook, go ahead and comment if you're on Facebook or if you're on LinkedIn or where you're at. Go ahead and comment, and we'll make sure we have audio. Looks like we have people jumping on different channels. So if you are joining us, this is not a test like it does say it is. This is definitely not a test. But Jason and I want to jump on. It's been a little while since we've done the Shred Impact, but thought there's some pretty interesting stuff going on within the industry that we probably should chat about. One in particular that's pretty exciting. So, Jason, we'll let you run with that one.
Yeah, so we just got news today that Open Door is introducing Open Door home loans, and I want to make sure I got that right. I'm on the Open Door blog, and just kind of all, just full. I guess what's what I'm looking for. I would say full disclosure. Used to work with one of the founders of Open Door, and Open Door looks like they are using Blend. They are going to be using Blend for their digital POS for doing Open Door home loans. I just went to actually go through the process just to see what it was like, and it is powered by Blend, which makes sense because Blend is also there. It's all in the family, so it's all in the Founders Fund family between Open Door and Blend. And so, with that, I would say it's something that isn't surprising to anybody, or shouldn't be surprising anybody, that Open Door decided to get. I mean, they've been doing mortgages on some certain extent for a while, but this is an obvious next step for them, just like with Zillow and everyone else that's doing iBuyers. It makes sense, right? And I don't know why people continue to get surprised by this, honestly, because it just makes sense. From a business perspective, if you can create an ecosystem for consumers where they all stay on your platform, and you're doing that, insurance, title, if you could do everything in one platform from a business perspective, you're going to do it.
Makes sense.
This is something I spoke about in Vegas last week, and that is regards to understanding the iBuyer and how prevalent that is in the Phoenix metro area. So let me give you some stats with that. So when it comes to iBuyers, 40% right now of iBuyers 40% of sellers will get an iBuyer quote before they actually go to a traditional real estate agent. Right?
Let's clarify a couple of things, because people are probably saying a lot of people don't even know what an iBuyer is. So clarify what an iBuyer is for them.
So an iBuyer, people have referred to it iBuyer as an internet buyer or as an investor buyer, but an iBuyer is basically Zillow Instant Offers, OfferPad, Open Door, Knock, basically where someone, instead of a seller like saying, hey, I'm going to sell my home, instead of like going to Josh, the real estate agent, I instead go to Zillow Instant Offers and say, hey, give me an offer on my house, and then they'll give me an offer, and then I could either take it and sell my house directly to Zillow, or I could just go the traditional route. So just to let you know, and look, iBuyers have only been around for about 6 years, really, like started 6 years ago. In the Phoenix market, Open Door has 6% market share.
It's crazy.
That is not a small percentage of market share
it's
for
huge.
the Phoenix metro area, right? But now, here's the stat that everyone should really be taking to heart, is the fact that that 40% of sellers will get an iBuyer quote before they engage a traditional agent, and 70%, right? It's about 65. There's kind of a argument between the two. Let's just say 65%, which is still a freaking large amount. 65% of sellers will get an iBuyer quote, just total, right? Like they'll also talk to an agent, but they'll also get an iBuyer quote. Now, 65% is huge. 40% is huge, and you're talking about a market that didn't exist 7 years ago. 6
Right.
years is being around, and now they have 6% market share. So now in that Phoenix metro area, not only are they getting 40%, so if people 6% for the market share. Now, if that same attractor, right? So Open Door now is attracting consumer attention. Now, if they are also now offering mortgages, and we all know that the consumer traditionally doesn't go to the mortgage professional first, they go to whoever they're thinking about, which happens to usually be a real estate agent, and then they get referred to, to a loan officer. Now that Open Door iBuyer, where consumers are going first, sellers in the Phoenix metro area by 40%, are now going to have the ability to get a home loan through them, right? So it's only available in Arizona and Texas right now, but of course they're going to expand. Guys, you need to understand that the race is on, right?
Absolutely.
Like the race is on right now for consumer attention. And I'm going to be a little candid and frank right now. I'm sick of having these conversations with people that don't get it, right? Like literally, if you don't get it, get out of the business now and go do something else, right? Because you're really ruining it for everybody else. You're getting in the way of everybody else. It's like those people that do like one loan every 6 months, and it's the most important loan in their world. So they're calling the underwriter. They don't know how to structure a loan, right? Look, and again, I'm not trying to be an asshole about this, but this is the thing: is like part of what we talk about here at Shred for Josh and I is saving the industry from itself, because we can't get out of our own damn way to understand what's happening. The race is on for the consumer attention. If you are going to sit there, and we just had a podcast this morning, Mortgage X, with Andrew Berman and Christine and Beckwith, and talking about this, if you don't understand that times are changing and that you have to adapt, and you have to not just adapt, but be a change creator and do these things, you are just getting in the way of progress for everybody else. So if you don't understand that, if you need to be convinced to build brand, if you need to be convinced that you need to get to the consumer first, if you need to be convinced that your best route isn't to partner with an agent, but to go to the consumer directly, if you need to be convinced of all of this, and the fact that Zillow is your competitor and that you shouldn't be buying leads and funding your competitor, if you need to be convinced of this right now in 2019 with all the news and all the information ahead of time, if you need to be convinced, you do not deserve to be in this business. I'm sorry, but you don't, but you're getting in the way of progress, and you're going to end up being one of these things that causes this industry to fail.
Tell me how you really feel, though.
It's really how I feel.
No, but it's true. The hardest part for us, and it's not even individual loan officers and real estate agents, it's companies.
Yes.
So we have companies reaching out to us, and people are finally starting to, at this point, because people still ask us quite a bit, like, what does Shred actually do? Like, you guys are everywhere, but what do you actually do? And if you haven't learned by now, we are an attention impact agency. We call it Shred AI. We help companies in particular, really, most companies are just not equipped to tell the story, to really not only tell the story, but they just don't know how to craft it, especially in this changing world. And like Jason said, saving the industry from itself, we just don't know, because we don't know what we don't know, and we try to stay in our old mindset and these old ways, and we're truly killing ourselves in the game. And some of these companies that we're talking to, they don't get it either, which is totally okay. This is brand new. What Jason and I have started here at Shred is something new. It is a new idea. We're not a PR firm. We're not a marketing company. People get us confused with that all the time. That is not it. We're all about creating impact, grabbing attention, creating impact, and staying relevant. I just see it's so good and so new. I don't even care. Winning. If you guys that's our new winning button. We're really excited. Me and Jason have played with that button like all the last couple of days. If you haven't watched my Instagram stories, because I was talking about that too. But when it even comes to big companies, they're some of the biggest entities in the entire mortgage and real estate industry, and they don't even get it either. And that's the part that's baffling to me, is this is one more announcement from a company that has so much consumer attention. You say 6% in 6 years, that's going to exponentially increase because they get it. Like, they truly get it. And I think so many people are like, oh, well, 6%, that is not a big share of the market. Like, that's fractional. It doesn't even matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep saying it. We're going to keep talking about it, because if you don't pay attention to it, it's going to take you by storm. And as a matter of fact, if you don't pay attention, probably you deserve to be taken by storm, because it's going to happen. The good news is there are people who are starting to listen. They are starting to take action, which that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help educate the industry. We're trying to help people really see that this is impacting everybody. So
yeah, and again, it's I wrote an article about this, about like, aren't we tired of being wrong yet? When iBuyers first came on the market, every single person that I knew laughed about it, said there's no way anyone would do this because of the pricing. And again, and it's not that they're wrong, but they understand that consumers don't live in a demographic box where everyone does exactly the same thing as everybody else, right? There are certain circumstances where doing an iBuyer quote might make sense, right? And
Absolutely.
so, and obviously with 6%, right, market share, it obviously works for a lot of people. Now, what everyone needs to be thinking about is for some reason, and we talked about this on the podcast this morning, everyone in our industry for some reason feels that the way it is today is the way that it's always going to be, right? And it's just not that route. What happens when the iBuyer margins get closer to being what the market provides, right? So what happens when everyone's got, oh, well, Open Door charges 7%, 10%, blah, 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 and all of that. What happens when that's not? What happens when that gets cheaper, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that model's here to stay, and because it's going to serve a certain market. But what happens when these processes and workflows and systems end up being just as efficient, better? Well, they're already more efficient in a lot of ways. But what happens when they're efficient and the price is at scale with the traditional model? What are you going to do then? And so when I talked about why aren't we tired of everyone being wrong, is because everyone said that the iBuyer model would not work, that no one would ever do that, and blah, blah, blah. And we're still having that debate, and it's just stupid, right? Like, the market share, those numbers that I just told you, is that there's an appetite. It doesn't matter. The consumer, we all know this. I see it in Facebook groups all the time. You guys have to see it in Facebook groups too. The consumer doesn't understand. The consumer will go because they think the low rate is everything, and it's not, right? Like, oh, you got a lower rate, but you've got to pay 3 points for,
right,
like the closing costs and all that stuff. All they think about is the monthly payment and the rate, right? They don't think about the whole picture. And so we assume that the consumer isn't intelligent enough to do the research and understand. Consumers, we know, don't always shop around for mortgages, right? Like, sometimes it's the first person they talk to or referred to. That's why you want to be top of the list, right? There's a psychology behind that. There's a reason why you want to be on the top, right? And that's because consumers will tend to go with that. So we got to understand, as an industry, we got to look deeper into consumer habits, consumer attention. It's why we created an attention impact agency, because that's what matters. It doesn't matter if you're on social media. It matters how you're on social media. It doesn't matter if you're doing these different avenues, micro influencers or whatever. It matters how you're doing it. And it's not the where, it's the why, and the how is what we focus on. And that, as a real estate agent, as a local mortgage expert, as a lender, wholesale lender, this is what you guys need to understand. Now, luckily enough, we're working with a lot of clients that do understand that, but there's some that still don't get it, that still need to be convinced, that needs to understand that they're talking about ROI when it's consumer intention, except they'll go and spend money on a newspaper ad or a magazine ad or a billboard, and that same ROI doesn't even come into the conversation. And, like, again, you guys, right now, I'm just seeing a lot of people that deserve to fail, right? Because
it's unfortunately true.
And it's not like because I want them to fail. It's because, look, you guys have all the evidence, right? It's like they see, like, a house that's on fire, and they're like, well, maybe the fire isn't that bad, right? Like, it is, right? There's a reason for all this evidence that you have in all these industries, and Uber and Lyft and Airbnb and everything else. everything is changing, and the industry needs to get on board with this. It's stupid.
Speaking of fire, if you guys are live with us, drop some fire in the chat because Jason is heated this afternoon.
heated.
He is excited. So if you are here with us live or you're watching on the replay, drop some fire in the chat because he's lit today. Can you say lit?
I'm lit. Well, because I still see
bad?
it. Like I'm seeing people post about Open Door and they're laughing at that. I'm like, oh, are you laughing at? Look, okay. Think about Ola, and I'm going to keep going because I want everyone to think about this. Think of like a piece of pie, right? Or a pizza or something.
It sounds delicious right now,
It sounds
actually.
delicious, actually. But like, think about that, and you take away 6% of that, right? That's 6% of something that you didn't used to have to fight for that now you do, right? And that's going to get bigger and bigger, and then other things are going to happen. And then not only that, but then there's competition between each other. There's only so much business to go around. Right now, my opinion, and I'll echo this of our good friend Phil Treadwell, same thing, is that the people that really do this business the right way and think about it, there's going to be plenty of business to go around. But for those of you that aren't doing a lot of the stuff that not only that we talk about, but others in the industry, like mentioned Phil and his podcast, The Mortgage Marketing Expert, but stuff that we're talking about in the industry, right? Or Dustin Brome with the Massive Agent podcast, like these are the things that we've been talking about for a while now. And if you still haven't got it, if you're still not executing it, if you're still, now it's cool. If you've been in this business for a long time and honestly, like you're done in the next 5 years, cool, right? Like, but if you're not, if you're in this business for legacy and you plan on being here past the next 10 years, then you better wake up. And if you're a lender that wants to do business past the next 5 or 10 years, then you better wake up. And it's not just us. It's not just like two guys coming in, like trying to just whatever. Like we're talking to industry icons, people that have been in the industry for decades that agree with us, right? That talk about the same thing. It's just like we need to understand what is happening and we need to get out of our own way and we need to do things differently because at the end of the day, there's going to be two results. One is that we either come together, tell a different narrative, and we evolve the industry ourselves. That's the best solution, right? The other one is that the Open Doors, the Zillows, and Better Mortgage, and all these other fintech lenders and providers will create a new industry, and we deal with what's left. Those are the only two options. There is no gray area. Right? This is a battle now. This is a war, and we need to win it. If you like the way our industry operates, right? And obviously with, being more efficient, better for the consumer, better pricing. If you want that model to continue, if you want your job to continue as it is, now everyone's going to change a little bit, but if you want to continue that for legacy, then you better get on board. If not, you're just going to be dealing with what's left.
100% agree. I want to give a couple of comments, shout outs while we're hanging out here. Blake Lyles, thanks for joining us. Dan Patty, Michelle Vaughn. Michelle thinks you're a little scary, a little scared today.
Scary.
John Hill, if you're still on, he says, damn, Frazier. And John wants my shirt, literally wants the shirt off my back. John, I will give you this one, but I think I've got another one I can give in the same color. So thanks everybody for joining us live on LinkedIn. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. And again, if you're joining us now live right now, make sure you comment #shred. You're here shredding with us. And if you're joining us on the replay, comment #hustle in the comments. But when it comes down to it, we've talked about this I don't know how many times now. This is probably our third announcement like this in the last couple of weeks. And we're gonna continue to have more and more of them. And people, like you said, people are laughing about it, like, lol, like they just don't get it. Like it's really gonna be one of those things that unfortunately, we understand it and we are showing up and we're actually taking action on it, but most people, it is going to take by storm and they're going to get left in the dust. Like it absolutely is one of those things that I think the more and more we see it and the more and more hopefully we as an industry talk about it, we can get a grasp on it. Because if we don't, these companies are going to come in. They have millions and millions of dollars. They have VC. If you guys don't know this, there's more VC money being pumped into our industry right now. I mean, you got to remember, the mortgage and real estate industry, it's $1 trillion industry. Like it's absolutely, it's huge. Yep. So you have VCs putting money into technology. There's more money being dumped into fintech right now than any other industry. And it's because of partnerships like this. So if you don't think, like if you truly are just like, nope, it's not going to affect me and my little business. I'm here in this little rural town and it is going to affect you no matter what, because these companies have hundreds of millions of dollars and they're going to continue to go after consumer attention. And if we don't get there first, or if we don't get to those people, perfect example is me today. Like I'm going to totally bash on myself because I had a borrower who ended up hearing about another local company here in Utah. I want to say their name because they piss me off. Homie, they do a terrible job, and heard that they do great quotes. Everybody knows I'm an originator. Still have my license. I got, actually, I'm going to plug UWM real quick because our good friends at UWM, they actually sent me an email saying, hey, just so you know, a payoff came through. You might want to reach out to this borrower. So I did that. And reached out to them, said, hey, what's going on? Found out they were going through this other company. And that's totally on me. I didn't stay up to date with them. I didn't stay in front of my consumer. I've been working on Shred. So that was totally on me. If you don't think your consumers, this is a really good friend of mine too, and I'm not bashing him at all. This is totally on us as professionals. We have to stay in front of our sphere of influence. We have to keep that relationship there, or your big companies are. Like they have to they're taking that market share away from us. So big loss. Hey, John Hill is still live with us. So John, I will definitely get you one of these shirts, my friend. Sorry, sidetracked there. But guys, we have to stay in front of the consumers. If we don't, just like the example I gave you from today, Open Door with this new announcement from them, we're going to see more and more of them. So it's up to us to really pull our heads out of the sand, of course, and start focusing on where we need to, or we're going to ultimately lose.
Yeah, and understand that the marketing machines that these companies are deploying are 24/7, right? They're 24/7. So if you're not willing to up your game to be a 24/7 marketing machine, then you're going to have issues, right? And I want to make something clear, because whenever I ever go off these little tangents or rants or whatever, even though this one's well deserved with everything that's happening, understand this, right? People will only fixate on a few things that I say. Look, if you are going directly to the consumer, you are investing in a personal brand, you're investing in modern marketing, doing Facebook ads, building awareness, and all that other good stuff, you are not going to have an issue, right? If you're doing that, you're doing blogs, you're attracting attention, you're in for the long game, you're not going to have an issue no matter what disruption happens, right? Because you are building that sphere of awareness and attention, and hopefully with your messaging creating an impact, because that's going to keep you relevant. It's going to get you relevant with the consumer. It's going to maintain relevance with your sphere, right? In your database, which is important. So that's what I want everyone to really understand, that when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the lenders that don't get it. I'm talking about the loan officers that don't get it, the real estate agents that definitely don't get it, and the brokerages that don't get it. And understand this is a different world. And yes, there's always going to be a need for a human touch. But understand that some of those, some of that market is going to be contracted. And so you're going to have to be fighting with other people. And what is that differentiator going to be for you and your business, right? Yes, millennials still want to have conversations. So a lot of that relationship, but eventually the market changes and the dynamics change, and how you communicate with those people change, and what attracts them to you to get you on that path of know you, like you, trust you, so they actually use you to do business, is all of that changes. So you need to be investing in yourself. Right now, there's no gatekeepers, right? And that's another thing that pisses me off, because look, there is no, literally, this is the best time ever to be in this industry. You have all the tools available, all the different marketing machines, social media. You could build a million, and in some cases, almost $1 billion business off of YouTube and other channels, obviously parlaying and products and stuff like that. Like, you couldn't do that.
Nope.
In this century, right? You couldn't do that not too long ago. Now you can, and so we need to take advantage. In my opinion, social media and everything was built for this business. It was built for real estate. It was built for mortgage, for us to be able to reach consumers without having to go to the gatekeepers and pay for things and whatnot. So this is the best time to do it, but we need to take advantage of it. Everyone needs to do it. And like I mentioned, just my talks and talking about spending $2 a day. I want everyone that's either watching this live or watching the replay, are you spending $2 a day, at least $2 a day on Facebook to build awareness? This isn't rocket science on what you have to do. Anyone that wants to understand how to build awareness, message me, let me know. I'll be happy to give you a step-by-step instruction on how to do it. It doesn't break the bank, right? $2 a day to build awareness, to get to the consumer first, and also understanding that your competition isn't doing this. Plus, it allows you to be hyper local, which Zillow's not going to be able to do, which Quicken's not going to be able to do. These are the things that matter. Building awareness so that they see you everywhere. Josh had mentioned that a lot of people come up like, Shred, what do you guys actually do? We don't really care, right? We care what we do. Let me rephrase it. We care what we do, but we don't really care if people know what we want to do, because we're not out here trying to generate we're not selling a product, right? Like, we have clients that hired us to do what we do for them, right? So that's fantastic. But we're not out there selling products. We're not there doing whatever. We don't do affiliate relationships. We're not doing it. We are trying to bring the best of the best together so that this industry survives and evolves and has the best, the best place of itself, right? Like the best edition or version of itself for the future to meet the needs of the modern consumer in the modern era. And so everything that we're doing as Shred is it's not rocket science. You guys can do it too. You just have to be willing to work. I know it's not comfortable. I had that meeting today where someone said, look, I want to thank you for, helping me get out of my shell and be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? We all have to do that, right? And I get it. It's not easy. I get it. It's not what you're built for because you're a loan officer first or you're a real estate agent first and you got to do your job. But there's things that you could do within that. If you were doing any type of marketing before, you can do this type of marketing now, right? And it's going to be more and more important. And if you're a lender and your loan officers aren't doing that, then find ways to help them do that, right? Your agents, your loan officers, everybody, find ways to help them because it's going to be a benefit to your business as well.
Big shout out to Michelle Vaughn Rodriguez, our good friend Michelle. She actually commented, I did my first ad on my business page. Good job, Michelle. That's exactly what we're talking about. You have to start somewhere. You have to get outside your comfort zone like Jason is talking about. Michelle, I would love to know how it went. So if you want to comment here or maybe we even have you on the show. I don't think we've ever had Michelle on the show.
I don't think we have. I was just on one of her masterminds and that went well. And so that was
perfect.
fun.
Michelle, we're going to have you on the show. So I'll reach out to you because I'd love to hear how that actually went because you're actually doing it. I'm so proud of you. So big shout out to Michelle.
Yep.
Great job. With that, is there anything else you want to rant on while you're...
Well, I don't want to rant on, but we need to move on to our event next week. So.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about Social Wow? Social Wow next week.
Create Wow. Social Survey.
Social Wow sounds better.
Social Wow's good too.
Sorry. Create Wow by Social Survey.
Correct.
That's going to be on September 4th through the 6th. So we leave on Wednesday. We're going to be speaking on a panel on...
No, we're going to be doing their marketing sprint. So
see, guys, I don't even know.
Yeah,
we have so many things going on. Yeah, that's right. Marketing sprint.
Marketing sprint. Josh Pitts, myself, and then our others, founders of the Industry Syndicate, Phil Treadwell, Dustin Rome will be joining us. And so we're all going to be speaking on stage to groups of mortgage professionals at Create Wow, doing marketing sprint, talking about content, talking about voice, talking about things that they need to be worried about, or not worried about, but things that they need to be focused on. So we're doing that 4 through 6, San Ramon, California. So check it out. If you haven't gone there yet, go to Social Survey site to check it out, or just Google Social Survey Create Wow, and you will check out their event. It's like I said, it's in San Ramon. It's a great event. This is their second year doing it. Their inaugural event was last year in San Ramon, same location. I had the pleasure of speaking at that event along with some other great people, including our good friend Jake Failing was there as well. So so this is just a great event. We're gonna be there talking about what's next, right? Like really what this industry is about. If you're in mortgage or real estate, you're in the Bay Area, come to this thing. It's awesome. It's definitely fun. I had a great time. Social Survey does a real different type of conference. If you guys want to really learn more about it, I wrote an article and did a video interview with Scott Harris, who's the CEO of Social Survey, and that's on the Shred Attention Impact blog at shredmedia.com. So you can check that out. Great interview with Scott. And one of the things that I really like about Scott is he's got a very deep passion for what he does and very excited and just loves every minute of it. So that comes through in their conference and what they're doing. It's not about making money for them. It's about creating community and what they call Create Wow.
Guys, super exciting. We're excited to be on that. We actually have a whole bunch of events coming up over the next... I know you talked about Vision 2020 is coming up later this month.
We got Fuse coming up.
We got Fuse in just a few weeks. It's going to be fun down in Vegas. So a lot of big events coming up that we're excited to be taking part of. As you guys know, we get to travel the country. We're very humbled and grateful for the opportunity we have to travel, to be in the trenches with each and every one of you, getting to be able to bring you guys stuff like this that is truly beneficial and hopefully bringing value to what you're doing. John Hill commented commented best conference of the year. So I know John Hill is going to be down there. So excited to be hanging out with John and many others. You mentioned Social Survey and Craig and Scott and all those guys. So excited. Again, big thanks to them for the opportunity to be there.
Brittany Hodak is going
Brittany Hodak.
Yeah,
Good friend. We met her at Engage Marketing by Housing Wire. That was she was super cool. I actually learned some great things from her. I think I even shared them on Creating Superfans. I think I talked about them before. So excited to hang out with Brittany Hodak again as well. So with that, anything else you want to rant on?
No, I think I'm
Nothing
good.
you think
I
about
think
right
I got
now?
it out of my system.
You want to sound the horn for this episode?
Yeah, I
then?
mean, I think this is going to be This is going to be that's the MLG air horn for those who are looking for that sound effect. Those with you with children, I would highly recommend not playing that for them because I made the mistake of doing that last night, and now my wife hates me
that's
because that's all they're doing. But really what it comes down to, you guys, obviously when I rant about that stuff, is because I have a passion for the industry. For those of you who don't know my story, I was born into the mortgage industry, right? Literally. And so I want to see this industry survive, right? And I don't want to see it become like the taxi industry with Uber and Lyft. Right, all the signs are there, guys. All the signs are there, and it's great to see those that are picking up and trying new things, and actually going to these conferences to learn, being what we call the 10% that'll actually execute on these things, because you'll be better. And look at it this way: if you want to execute on these things, you're going to be far better positioned,
far and away,
than your competition, right? Because they won't do it. Oh, they'll do it when it's too late. Like look at Facebook ads right now. Right now, the golden age of Facebook ads are over, right? They're over. Now, real estate and mortgage professionals are in what they call a special ad category. So the targeting options and everything that we used to know and love don't work any longer. So you have to be very, very good at Facebook ads in order to get any good results going forward. And not to say that you couldn't, but it's going to be it's a lot more difficult. And so we've been talking about Facebook ads for a while, right? Last year, the year I've been talking about this stuff since 2012 into 2011, beginning of 2012, right? Like that was the time when you guys could have just crushed it. And so many people are now just like, well, maybe I should do Facebook ads, right? And even back then, people were like, it doesn't work. And so I'm tired. That's what I'm saying. That's why I wrote that article about, are we tired of being wrong yet? Because we're wrong all the time, right? And not just our industry, but if you look around us today, we're surrounded by things that are mainstream that were never going to work. Right. That the main consensus was it was stupid. It wasn't going to work. It was never going to pan out. Look at Tesla. You know how many people poo-pooed Tesla when Elon, SpaceX, like, there was no way an independent company is ever going to send rockets to the moon. And now they're being used by other countries and by NASA itself. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. We, as human beings, are wrong way more than we're right.
Way more. And I think we want to let people know, like like you said earlier, you are passionate about this, and you called some people out, like, either get your ass in gear or get out. We say that with the most love and respect. We want to see you guys succeed. Everybody here that watches us and watches what we're doing, number one, we're grateful for your support. Number two, we want to see you succeed. Yeah. Like, we truly do. That's why we're so passionate about this. That's why we're so fired up about it, because if you don't take action, these other companies already are. It's 24/7, like you said. So please be willing to take action, be willing to do something. Don't just listen to this and be like, oh, that was good information. Like, you got to go out there, you got to keep showing up, you got to keep hustling and repeating every day. That's what it's all about.
Good. I just got a little high pitch there. But it's true, right? Like, and again, it's all because we want people, whoever wants to win, you're on our side, right? If you want to win, fantastic, let's go, right? If you don't, if you want to kick the tires, if you want to see what happens, then go do something else, right? Like, because it's a war, it's a race, it's everything that's whatever descriptor you want to use. That's what it is right now. So, like, I hope you guys are ready to go. We've talked about this. This isn't going to be the last one, right? There's going to be more mortgage companies, there's going to be more disruption. There's going to be and look, I mentioned fintech lenders, Better Mortgage, who didn't exist very long ago, right? I want to say that their third quarter is going to be like at $1 billion. Something like that is what I read, right? And they only did, or maybe up to third quarter this year, they've already done $1 billion. Look, and they've only been around for, I don't even know how long, but as far as but just for a few years, right? So if you're a mortgage lender that's been around longer than Better Mortgage, and this year you didn't do $1 billion, if you're not matching them, that should tell you something. Someone that 100%. Didn't even exist, that should tell you something, right? And don't go about the commission and stuff like that. They still make their money in service fees. They still make their money, right? Like it's just a different model. But that's what I'm saying is like we're wrong most of the time.
Most of the time.
We need to get tired of being wrong and understand like I know human beings don't like change, right? Bill Dallas talked about this at the California NBA. I don't know why we look at other humans to be innovative and change, because there's nothing more that humans hate than change, right?
Yep.
And so that's just one of these things. Like we need to understand that. Now, before we go, I do want to give a shout out to one of our newest members of the Shred Air Advisory, the Shred family, and that's AFR.
AFR. Excited to be working with her, Laura Brandeo. Everything she's doing, she's awesome. Really excited to be working with them. A couple of shout outs here on LinkedIn. Mark Galwith is the vice president of Switcher Studio, which we're using here. Want to thank him. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but it's been great. I actually was able to get on the phone with him, walk through it, got it figured out. So thanks so much to Switcher Studio. We're grateful for them. Again, no affiliate relationship, guys. This is what we're using. We're sharing it with you guys. Shout out to our good friend Brent Chandler. He is live with us right now. I'm on your side, is what Brent commented. Yes, you are.
Brent is one of those.
CEO,
is one of us.
CEO of Form Free. So big shout out to our friend Marvin Colon jumped on. Bill Stevens, longtime supporter.
Bill Stevens is awesome. We just did a little shout out to him. He is awesome.
Super cool guy. Mark Ewell joined us. Jennifer Allen. Thanks for everybody dropping comments. And again, if you guys could do us a favor, if you will drop your comments on how the video was on this. Like I said, this is our first time being able to actually connect this. We're streaming on all of our channels from YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we're excited to actually be using Switcher Studio now. I think we've got all the little bugs figured out. We're using our nice camera, so hopefully it's better quality for everybody. It's not the 720. Facebook only streams 720. You probably already knew that, but Facebook you can only get 720p. But we actually will be able to go back and repurpose this in 1080 and 4K. So pretty exciting with that. With that, Jason's done ranting. I think we're excited for the day. A lot of great things. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. And again, if you're just joining us, if you joined us live, make sure you comment #Shred. And if you're joining us on the replay, comment #Hustle. But we appreciate you. We love you. Make sure you show up, you hustle.
And repeat every day.
All right, guys, have a great day. And we'll end on the air horn.